Well, hello, folks. Guess what? It's a Saturday afternoon for me, a Saturday morning for this guy, wherever he is. Um, and look, me and him have been talking a lot this morning, and we thought maybe we needed to come on here and kind of clear the air and make some things crystal clear to some people. So, dude, why don't you take it, and then I'll take my part of it.
Okay, well, a lot of people, we just basically put up the European tour that we're doing. A lot of it is Eastern Europe. We have Killtown on there because that's a deal we made, and we're ending the tour with that festival, and we're
Right.
starting the tour in Bulgaria. And a lot of people have been asking, a lot of fans on social media have been saying, well, how come you're not playing here, or are you going to play here? Are you going to play there? Look, Massacre would play anywhere if promoters would book us. And the thing is, this guy right here, he's the guy you contact for booking us right here. And, I've been putting up Pete's email for people to get. We go through the Flaming Arts. Pete works, with the Flaming Arts and works directly with Massacre. So it's not like we're not out there trying to get shows. It's just promoters aren't hiring us. And I've got my theories, and we'll talk about that. I want to talk about that, touch base on that. But that's literally what's going on is like when I see fans ask, and I'm not angry at the fans don't know. And maybe that's what we need to do on this show, on this episode, is kind of start telling fans how this stuff works because fans just assume that a band just shows up to town and goes, hey, we're here, we're going to play a show.
Uh,
And it's not like that. It's a lot of planning goes into it. But you can't plan if no one's there to basically be on the receiving end. I mean, we're pitching balls, man. We're pitching balls all day long, but nobody's catching.
Right. And look, so from my side, it's like this, I am working for Flaming Arts, but I'm only taking care of Massacre. That's it. It's my only thing. It's all I wanted to do at this point is take care of Massacre because it's easy for me because we're friends and you know what I mean? There you go, Massacre with the right logo and all. But look, something that frustrates the hell out of me, and I'm going to stay as calm as possible because Cam's heard my fucking wild rants this morning. um, Cam gets frustrated when he sees, people say, "Hey, why aren't you playing my town?" I get extra frustrated when I see people saying, "Why aren't you playing this town? Why aren't you playing this festival?" Folks, let me tell you something. If you want Massacre to come and play your town or your festival, okay, you being one person probably isn't going to persuade a promoter to bring Massacre there because guess what? It's expensive if they're not on tour. Now, something you have to understand is Massacre is an American band. If you are outside of America, which most of you are that are requesting the band to play, guess what? We have to fly Massacre to you. And I'll tell you, it's costing at least 5,000 round trip, depending where you are in the world at this point. Okay, so that means Massacre can't come just to play your town because I guarantee your promoter is not going to pay 5,000 plus the guarantee, plus the travel, plus the hotel. Okay,
And the
so
food. And the
and
food.
the food,
I'm not I'm
yeah,
not I'm not doing a food drive. I'm sorry. I'm not doing a food drive, I'm not doing it. I mean, we need some food and a
yeah,
shower. I mean, we require food. The bed we can kind of skip on. I've slept upright inside the van. I've slept on, just leaning on something. But a shower and food is pretty much, and coffee. Coffee's like really important.
it is important, right? But so look, my point is this: for one person, a promoter isn't going to be persuaded to bring Massacre. However, if you and your death metal buddies and your little group in whatever town or village or wherever you live, or city, get together and like 20 or 30 of you go to a promoter and say, "Hey, we would like to bring Massacre," then obviously the promoter would be like, "Hey, maybe this is something we can." And then look, once someone gets a hold of me, then we only need one person to bite and we can build something around that if it's possible. It could also be possible that we get one promoter and then we can't do anything because it's just not economically feasible to bring Massacre in to play one show. However, what we generally do is we generally find one festival and then we build stuff around that.
Yeah,
And
that's generally how this went. I mean, this kind of like went. We got the Killtown booking, and we were kind of like, oh, well, when is Killtown? And we found out, okay, it's towards the beginning of September and the end of August, and we're like, okay, let's build something else around that. And literally, Pete, what I think people don't realize is we have been to Europe for the past 4 years now. It's like we've been back and forth. So people are going, how come you didn't play Germany? I'm like, well, where were you the 3 other years we were there? We were there three, there's plenty of German shows. I mean, plenty of stuff in Europe. I mean, yes, we hit France finally last year. We hit parts of France and Spain and Portugal for the first time, and that was really great. We were touring with Malevolent Creation for that one. So we did hit many places. But when I see people say, "Well, how come you're not coming here?" I'm like, "Well, how come you weren't there last time?" And if you were, great. I'm very appreciative of the support, and I'm glad that there are fans out there that want us. So I'm not crumbing on the fans. That's not it. And a lot of you guys could be a little ignorant of how things work. So that's what Pete and I are doing this for, to kind of explain to you how it works. Of course, I know nobody wants to sit there and go, I don't give a fuck how it works. Just show up and play your show. Shut up, play your show. You know, well, there's some people that really want an explanation. Some people like to know how things work. And then there's some jerks that don't give a fuck. But I'm there. We're doing this today for the people that might want to know how it works. And also kind of address our pet peeves.
Yeah.
Like for one, look, there used to be a time back in the day when promoters accommodated the bands,
Yep.
but it's not so much like that anymore. Now promoters expect the bands to accommodate them. And what do I mean by that? People are saying, what the fuck does that mean? Well, what it means is promoters will hire you only if you're coming through their town. If you're hey, by the way, if you're passing by London, if you're coming by England, you want to do some UK shows? Why am I talking like that about England? I don't know. I'm just doing a completely different accent. But anyways, you get the picture. You get the picture. Is somebody, they will accommodate you if you're in the area. And people are like, well, that makes sense. That's normal. Yes, that makes sense. But we don't know this until the promoters contact us. We don't know to route. We have to make a route. And we don't know where to route to unless you want to hire us. So it's not like, hey, if you're coming by this way, can you get a show? No, you need to book that show so we can make a route,
Yeah.
a map of how to go. That's how it works. There you
What
go. I don't know if anyone's even going to understand that explanation, Pete, but that's the best I can do.
okay,
I'm
here's what drives me up the wall about especially people in Germany when they go, "Oh, you didn't come to my town." You can literally drive from one end of Germany to the other in about 9 hours maximum. Most places in Germany you can drive to in about 6 hours. So look, folks, you have to understand, it's with any band. Look, I live close to Nuremberg. I am amazed how few bands that I'm friends with actually play Nuremberg. It is a big city. It is one of the biggest cities in Germany and one of the most famous and popular cities in Germany. But very few bands come through. They come to Frankfurt, they go to Munich. And look, it's just that's just the way it is. However, you can't be like, oh, no bands come to Nuremberg, so poo poo. Well, you can drive to Munich in 2 hours. You can drive to
Pete.
Frank.
I like. Remember, there was a day. I think they don't understand today. And that's why. I mean, Pete and I lived in Central Florida back in the heyday, of the beginning of this whole shit. There'd be times where bands wouldn't come to Florida because Florida's a big limp penis that hangs off the end of the United States. It's literally a peninsula, and nobody wants to do it because you got to come all the way down and go all the way back up. It's a pain in the ass. So some of the bands that we really wanted to see wouldn't go any further than Atlanta, Georgia. Now that's a good 7 to 9 hour drive from where we used to live in Central Florida, but we would make that trek to see that band because that was the only way we could see that band.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I don't know what happened to those days. What happened to those days of people getting their buddies together, 4 or 5 guys, and going, man, let's load up the car, let's load up the gas, let's get a bunch of junk food, let's take this drive, and let's go
Yep.
enjoy ourselves. I don't know what's happened to those days. Now everybody wants it on their back porch.
Yeah.
And I think that has to do with the internet. I think the internet's made it so everything just at the push of a button, quickly as possible, and so they expect everything in life to be that way. They I mean, I don't know what you guys have in Germany, but we have like food delivery here. Like people don't even go out. Remember going to the whole point of fast food was going to a place that you could get food quickly. People are so lazy now that they Uber their fast food to them. Uber Eats is what we have here. I don't know what you guys have in Germany, but that's literally what it's called. It's like you're Ubering your fast food. That's
Yeah,
pathetic. That's
yeah,
really pathetic. I mean, I get up and like me, I can't talk, but I'm losing weight. Get your lazy ass up and walk. Go fucking walk.
yeah.
I'm just on a rant, man.
Germans have that, and I will tell you also, it is really it's a European thing. They don't take road trips like we did. I mean, it is so
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I kind of figured that was everywhere. Everyone took a road
no,
trip.
no, and so like me living an hour from where I work is pretty
Mhm.
rare in Germany because Germans are like, oh my
Really?
God, yeah, that's for us in America, that's nothing. You know what I mean?
No, that's nothing. That's normal. That's kind of normal.
Right. So
I
I mean,
mean,
I get the people that are in Europe that are like, "Dip, dip, dip," but however, they also understand the way touring goes. And there's something else I want to hit on real quick.
okay,
Um,
yeah,
you hit something that's also important. You guys have been over here the last 4 summers, which
yeah.
is why we wanted to bring something new to what Massacre is doing when you guys come over this in 2027. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because is done, booked. But 2027, we wanted to do something different so that you had more opportunities. Because people have to understand festivals don't want to keep booking the same bands over and over and over again. And we've been lucky. You've done some festivals over here. You've done Obscene
Yeah,
Extreme twice, and you've done Inflamed twice now, which is
yeah,
pretty
which
rare.
is kind of unusual for a band of our, I guess, our stature or our position, because literally we're not, which is, I've given up trying to like do new stuff because it's like nobody wants to hear the new stuff. They're always like, we want to hear from beyond, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna like, I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. If that's what the fans want, I'm gonna give the fans what they want. But I mean, for me, it's not fun. It's like I've been playing these songs for 40 fucking years, but I'll do it, and I still do it with the passion to do it, and I have no problem doing it because what makes me enjoy doing it is seeing the fans' reaction when we do it. Hearing that guy up front go, Corpse Grinder, I'm like, it's coming, man, it's coming. Everyone knows Corpse Grinder is the last song in the set, but they always scream it in the second song. Right after we get done. Pretty much everyone should know this set by heart. It's just, it's so funny. It's just generally like the order of the album with a couple of things sprinkled here and there, but you generally know. It's just like every time we get done with Cryptic Realm, somebody's yelling Corpse Grinder. I'm like, dude, it's like 7 songs away. Hold on, stop, you know.
And,
But
and look, that's something I have to give you is that you definitely over the last couple years you realize, okay, look, this is what people want, and
yeah,
that's what you're going to give them. And I mean, look, people have to understand, as a musician and as someone that's done music for a very long time, at some point you want to do new stuff, you want to do new stuff, you want to do new stuff, but then as you get older, you realize, well, fuck it. If people don't want the new stuff, then I might as well give people what they actually want. Whether, I mean, look, man, I'm sure you could live without playing fucking, Cryptic Realms again. You know what I mean? You don't,
yeah,
but you also understand that that's what people will pay for, and that's what people want to hear. And this is a business, and I mean, I think that's something
yep,
that's really changed is the way, you've looked at things and the way I look at things now is that, we look at it as a business more.
yeah,
And
exactly.
it's just the music is you have to look at it as, look, Cam wants to get paid. I mean,
Yeah,
fuck it. This is a job. And it's like me. I can't go to my job and not do what I'm supposed to do and expect to get paid. I have to do what I have to do. That's what my employer wants.
exactly.
So
Now, when I was 16, I didn't care. When I was 26, I didn't care. When I was 36, I wasn't even doing this crit no more. Then when I was 46, I was like, I better care again. Then 56 passed me, and I'm like going on 60, and I'm like, if I don't get fucking paid now, fuck it, I'm not doing it. I mean, it's just like that's as simple as it's the truth. I mean, you know, it's just a reality, and some people don't want to hear that reality because some people want to live that, in that fantasy, which, hey, I'd love to live that fantasy all day long too. I'd love to be able to play music and just somehow me on stage fills my belly and makes me full and gives me food and cleans my balls. You know, if I could just play on stage and my balls were immaculately clean without a shower, that would be great. I do it all day long. But unfortunately, I need food. I need showers. There's a guy that, some system somewhere at my house, even though, that they want the mortgage paid, they want rent paid, they want, in order for all this electricity to be on, they want that paid. For me to watch, Legacy of Monarch, Legacy of Monsters on Apple TV. That needs to be paid. Which, by the way, I watched that episode last night. I did watch it. Did you watch
I
it yet?
haven't. I saw there's 2 episodes up yet, and I guess that's gonna what I'm gonna do today. That's gonna be my thing for today. Uh, I got hooked. Was it you that told me about the young Sherlock?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I started watching. I did watch that. I watched the first episode of that. I haven't watched anything else, but I watched it because it's Guy Ritchie, man, and I had to. Yeah,
I knew I was hooked as soon as in the first episode they had the dams neat, neat, neat. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm watching this. I don't.
yeah,
It,
yeah,
I've got through 2 episodes now. Absolutely fucking love it. Very, very fucking cool. And also, something else you recommended to me that I think we should tell people, because we do films too on here. The Bluff.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna watch The Bluff today.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I was surprised because I just watched the other Carl. I watched an early Carl Urban film that's from New Zealand called The Irrefutable Truth of Demons. Really weird, fucked up. I mean, Carl looks like he's literally just in his 20s in this film. But if there's one scene I would love to ask if I ever met Carl Urban, because everyone's going to ask about fuck. I can't remember the show that he's known for now. Damn it. To me, Carl Urban's always Judge Dredd, you know? And I'm glad that he wants to come back and do another Judge Dredd, and hopefully he won't take the helmet off. I love the fact the first Judge Dredd, he never takes his helmet off. He was like, he was one of those that's what I don't like about superhero movies is every superhero movie, they got to take their fucking mask off so you can see the actor. I'm like, really? I'm not watching this because of the actor. Sorry, I'm not. I'm watching this because of the character. But that's what I loved about that Judge Dredd film that Carl Urban did. He's like, I'm not taking the helmet off the entire film, just like a real judge, just like the real Judge Dredd. So I was like, yes, this is fucking awesome. Anyways, the point I was trying to make was, I watched this film that he did back in New Zealand, and there's this scene. Now they didn't use CGI. They did use CGI in the film later on, but this scene where he's literally getting tortured, and they pour cockroaches on him and cockroaches go in his mouth. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, that dude just had 3 cockroaches, full palmetto bugs now, full size palmetto bugs, not in a little roach, in his mouth. And one crawls out across his face. And I'm like, how the fuck did he do that scene? Because ain't nobody putting no cockroaches on me, man. I'm sorry. I hope he got paid for that.
I'm sure, man. I'm
Because that
sure.
was some method acting right there. I was like, fucking A. Ugh.
Uh, but look, so let's not get too far off what we wanted to
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about.
okay.
So look, I hope people at least get the understanding now. If
Yeah.
you if you are sending messages about, hey, the band's not playing here, the band's not playing there, please think for a second, okay? You being the one person is not going to be enough to persuade a promoter. Go get your buddies, go get your friends, start some fucking internet campaign, whatever the fuck people do on social media these days, and in your town or village or city, and be like, hey, bring Massacre here. And
And
if
we will play anywhere. It's not like we will honestly. I mean, we're going to South Africa. I'm excited about that. So it kind of shows you we'll. If you bring us, we will play it. It's like what is that? What is that? What's that from?
oh, if you build it, they will come.
Field of Dreams or something. If you build it, we'll come. Yeah. So that's it, man. If you want us, book us. We'll play. We'll come. We'll play it. It doesn't matter. Okay, here it goes. It doesn't matter if there's one guy in the audience. I'll play the show. Doesn't matter. You just got to pay us. You got to pay us. If you pay our guarantee, make sure we have a hotel and a place to shower and some decent food, we'll play. I mean, it's simple as that. And it's not like I'm asking, I'm guarantee you there's a lot, different death metal bands asking for a hell of a lot more than we ask for. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to name those people because I don't know. I don't know. That's the whole thing about the music scene is we don't know who makes what. That's the big secret. You'll never get that out of anybody.
No, of course not. But I mean, look, it's and also people have to understand too that it has to make sense. I mean, if if you're in, let's say, England for say, and the tour's been, you see that Massacre is in Europe 3 weeks prior, and you're like, hey man, maybe I can book this at this club 3 weeks later. It doesn't make a lot of sense because now you have to pay to bring the band over. And look, but like you said, as long as people will pay for the flights, the food, the hotels, and the guarantee, Massacre will play anywhere. But this isn't, you aren't doing this for free. Like you said, someone's asking for the mortgage, someone's asking for their electricity. You guys got to play. You guys got to pay it.
Well,
And
there's also this thing where I want people to contact you because
yes,
you are booking for us. You're
yes,
going to know. Even I don't know everything. I don't know all the, like, people are like, well, where are you playing next? I'm like, I fucking don't know. Look at the poster. I don't know. I don't know these things. People are like, why don't you know? I guarantee you, majority of bands, unless they're really involved in it, don't know where they're just there. They go, let's go to this venue, let's go to this town, let's go to this country. And you kind of, because we sleep in the van or we rest as much as possible, and then we just go to the next town. We don't, a lot of us don't know where we're going. Some of us do. Some of us do. Me, I'm just like, I'm relying on guys like Pete and other people and the driver just to take me wherever the hell we're going. It doesn't mean I don't care. It's just like, you get bogged down with so much that little detail is something like, as long as it just gets us there, as long as we get there, I'm there. So what I was trying to say was we would play sometimes if they get in touch with you because you have to basically, like I said before, there's some routing that has to be. Now, if we play Killtown and somebody says, we want you to come play, in England the next weekend, well, we can't. Why? Because we're playing New York that
right,
following weekend. So we can't. So those are things that people don't need. They don't know. They don't know because they're not looking at our complete routing, but you'll know stuff like that. So if they contact you, you can say, okay, yes, Masker can come here or there. Like before Bulgaria,
yep,
who
yep,
knows? If somebody would contact Pete before
sure,
the Bulgaria festival,
yeah,
maybe we could get you there. Maybe we could come. It's a good possibility because the tickets, I believe, aren't bought yet. We're so far,
yeah,
ahead. I don't think the tickets are bought yet. So we can't do it a week after Killtown because we
right,
have to be back in the States to play in New York. But we got a lot of a lot of days. We got a whole week, pretty much. I'll give you that whole week before Bulgaria.
right,
Before that, we could easily come and play. So now that you're hearing this and you're watching this episode, and you're go tell your promoters, go get your buddies together, drive to the promoter and go, hey, you know what? Massacre's coming over. They're going to be playing in Bulgaria on August. I don't remember the date. See, I don't remember the date. It's August something. But they have this open time a week before that. Let's get them over here then, and
yeah,
contact this guy Pete because he'll know how to hook us up. He'll
yeah.
get it all worked and organized. So there you go.
Yeah. So look, folks, that's it. I mean, it's that freaking simple. But just please be smart about when you're writing, Cam, or any band.
Wow,
It
that's
just
asking a lot, Pete. you're asking people to be smart. I know you're probably going to cut this, but
but look, this is a public announcement to, for all bands, for everybody. Before you write any band and say, hey, why haven't you played my town? Stop for a second and think. Bands want to play shows, but they also need to be paid and they also need to get there. And all that costs money and it takes logistics. So please, before you start writing messages,
that's the magic word you always hear in bands: logistics. We
just
can't we can't do this because of the logistics. Well, the logistics are
yeah, exactly. The money is logistics. Money can fix any logistical problem. Period. That's all it comes down to. right? And look, real quick, something I'm sure there's going to be some smart ass out there that's going to be like, why don't you know what?
Always. There's always somebody who's got a better answer. There's always somebody, some genius out there that's got it all figured out. That they're watching this and they're like, oh, those guys are just complaining. They're just complaining. Yeah, fuck you, dude. Fuck you. Where are you at? Where are you at, Mr. Special? Where are you at in your life, Mr. Special? But go ahead, preach to us. Tell us how we're doing it wrong.
Exactly. So I know someone's going to watch the video and hear Cam say, I don't know where I'm going next. Look, folks, I would say 80 to 85% of all band laminates, tour laminates, when you see them, if you flip it over on the back or on the front, wherever it's at, depending on what your setup is, it has all the dates to the tour. Do you know why? Because these guys don't know where they're going half the time. And when you
And
go,
I don't
hey,
wear my laminate. I'm bad. I'm bad for that, man. I'm bad.
dude,
I'm like,
I
ah, cool, cool, another laminate for my collection. Let me go put it in my bag.
close, right? And
Then the
dude,
security stops. Who are you? I'm like, you don't know who I am? Fucking A, man. Where's your laminate? Shit, it's back in the dressing room. Which you
yeah,
just let me walk by 5 times before you asked me. You let me
right.
walk by 5 times, dude.
Yeah, and look, folks, I just saw it the other day. I was with a buddy that me and Cam both know, Jimmy from Methane. He was out doing a backline for a band, and I said, "Hey, dude, where are you at tomorrow?" And he literally looked down, flipped over his pass, and read where he was at tomorrow. You know what I mean? Because people don't know. People have to understand. It's like the movie Groundhog's Day. Every day is the same. Most clubs, unless you're playing a festival, all look the fucking same. Unless it's the
Yeah.
bike Unless it's the Viper Club in fucking Vienna where you have to walk down fucking 20 flights of stairs and try not
The
to kill
hell. Or that one cool club in Germany, the Hell Club. It's got all the skeletons on.
Yeah,
I always remember that because of the way it was set up.
of
Or
course.
the one in Norway that's called like that looks like the Castle of Dracula inside. There's always some cool something that you make you. I couldn't get there. You drop me off in Norway and go take me to the one that looks like I'm like fuck if I know, but I know there's a fucking club here that looks like the inside of castles of Dracula's castle, but I don't know where it's at.
But I look, man, I think we've probably hit on everything unless you have anything else you want to touch on today.
No, I mean, literally, I just want, I mean, I know that there's going to be, like I said, there's going to be people out there that shit on all of us because, we're telling the truth or telling people how it really works or, oh, hidden the secrets. Oh, Cam and Peter like telling people how it is. Like, especially like, hey, some bands pay to be on tour.
Well,
Some bands actually pay big bucks to be on. Like you're wondering, hi, Massacre's been around for like 40 years. How come they can't get any big shows? Yet this band from nowhere, nobody knows, is suddenly playing this big show somewhere. They bought on to the tour. That's the big secret. Oh, everybody's gonna hate me now. Can't least tell secrets. No, they bought onto the tour because they had backing from their label. Their
yep,
label usually backs them and buys onto a tour, so that bigger band that they're opening for doesn't have to pay for the bus.
yep.
I mean, when you find out, hey, the opening bands pay for the bus, yeah. Well, there's some things I'm going to do and some things I refuse to do. And when somebody says, hey, you want to come open for such and you got to pay for the bus, I'm like,
Yeah. No. No, yeah.
yeah,
One thing
no,
Mass
I ain't doing
Mass
that.
not gonna do fucking, we're not gonna do buy-ons. And it doesn't and for me personally, honestly, dude, I don't think it does anything except for the headline band because it helps them financially. I don't think it does anything really for the band that buys on. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
Me and you have seen it. We
No,
know.
I mean you get exposure. That's about it. That's about it. That's what you're getting. You're getting your exposure, and most of it's sales on your merch money. If you get somebody interested in enough to buy your merch, literally, that's what it is. Most opening bands they get frustrated. They'll get frustrated. If it's not the entire band, it's members, and members take off and they leave. I've heard the story. I mean, I've been in this for 40 years, man. I've heard the stories. I didn't make any money. I've been out here touring for 5 years and I didn't make any fucking money. Everybody. So I don't manage you guys. I don't manage other people's bands. I don't know. I know what works for us, and I make sure that all my guys are paid. So I don't know how other bands do it. I won't dictate how other bands do it. I don't care how other bands do it. But if you want to keep people happy, and really, that's really is true. You want to keep people happy, give them what they're worth. If you can. Sometimes we don't get paid. what we're worth, so I can't pay those guys. But everybody's got a breakdown. I don't know how other bands do it. I don't. Massacre has a general breakdown. Everybody that joins this band knows how that breakdown goes. And if they come later bitching about it, I'm like, you might want to look at that piece of paper. That before you join, that piece of paper was pretty clear how things get worked out. But there you go. I'm very transparent, and Pete will tell you. We're pretty transparent when it comes to business and stuff like that, and pretty easy to work with. I mean, I don't have any ridiculous demands. Like I don't want like a room full of hookers every show, and champagne, and
Your rider is very, very, very venue friendly. It's very promoter friendly. I have seen other bands' riders, and let me tell you, Massacre is very, very, very venue and promoter friendly. Yeah, you got
here's the thing: we don't drink. So
that.
I mean, that's a number one. We don't even have. You can literally can get. Oh, you can get away with not giving Massacre alcohol at all. Zero alcohol.
Yeah.
I mean, no, not even beer. I mean, we're happy with some water, some water, some drinkable water, not that fucking bubble water you guys have in Europe. Fuck that shit. But some regular water and some some maybe a Coke here. I don't drink sodas anymore, but a Coke Zero once in a while I'll probably have. But stuff like that. Powerade, big. We're big on that kind of stuff. You don't even have to buy us whiskey, beer, all that shit. So
Yeah.
we're pretty easy on that one.
Yeah.
Coffee. Yeah,
Yeah.
coffee's a big thing for us.
But honestly, man, your guys' rider is very, 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 very friendly. And I mean, alone on drinks, venues are going to be saving 200 to 300 euros without the bottle of Jack or the
Yeah,
six bottles of rum or vodka that people have on their
and we
whole.
don't do drugs, so you don't have to bring us cocaine. Or like I've seen a lot of bands out there with that cocaine in the back. That's all I care about, having that cocaine. You don't have to worry about that with Massacre. We don't do drugs, no cocaine, no reefer, none of that shit. It's just we are drug free, alcohol free band. You know,
Just you
so
just you showed your age. I don't think anyone calls it reefer anymore, dude.
reefer, pot, ganja,
I
whatever, man,
think people call it pot.
whatever.
Man, we're too old for this shit.
Yeah, we are
So
too old for this shit.
we are.
Drugs, recreational drugs. People are like, reefer's not a drug; it's legal now. Fuck it. I don't even do that.
Uh,
There's other things that are legal I still don't do. Prophylactics are legal, but I don't do them. I'm just saying.
Look,
There's a lot of legal shit that could be helpful, but I don't use them.
of course. Hey, so look, folks. I think me and Cam have basically told you what we needed to tell you today. Hopefully, hopefully you get it. Hopefully you understand it. I'm going to cut this up in little pieces, and we're going to do the shorts and stuff on the YouTubes because, believe it or not, these shorts are what people want to watch. I guess the attention span is gone, and
Seconds,
exactly,
30 seconds, 30 seconds.
people are just like, oh, I'm tuning out. So
This is your
anyway.
30 seconds of knowledge.
Of course.
Okay.
So look, there you go. So that's me and Cam, basically telling like it is, and fucking if you want us, if you want them, contact me.
He's here. He's here on my screen. He might be over here by the time this is edited, but he's right here or
I
there.
never, I never
There.
know,
He's
I
there
never know where you
or
are.
there. He could be there. He's going to be on one side or the other, but he's that guy right there. The guy with the